leaders have got to be agile. We just can't be, the old style leadership. I think you've got to adapt to the changing world that we all exist in now. I'm Kevin Browne. I've been working for 40 years, predominantly in the employability and skills sector, working in many countries, building companies and running companies, but predominantly to help people find secure, long-lasting work, and it's been a fantastic 40 years. So working in the employability sector is about creating opportunity for people to re-engage, and have a long, meaningful, lasting career. And why that's even more important now is, lots of people have lost their career focus or their jobs as a result of COVID. And getting people to kind of have the opportunity to re-engage is about learning new skills, about doing different jobs than you're doing before, and upskilling with them and creating an environment where people believe that they can get back to work. So the employment sector's got a huge role to play in society in building capability, not only for the people but for the industry itself, so that people are passionate about change, can come up with innovative, creative ideas to connect people and have great solutions. So, it's an exciting sector to work in, but it's hugely important if we're going to, help the economy recover all around the world. So, I'm proud to be part of that. Yeah, it's quite tough because there's been quite a lot, but I think the time I spent in the Middle East back in 2011, where we had the chance to build the very first business in the Middle East with Saudis who'd never done this sort of work before. We had 12 weeks to build the program and deliver services to the kingdom, and those people did an amazing job. So it was really exciting to be part of that building and evolving model. So I think there's a number of really important things. I think great leaders look ahead and see what's coming over the horizon, so they understand the markets and what's going to change. I think the key skill for any leader is enablement. It's about how you create the environment for people to succeed and use their skills and knowledge effectively. And I think the other thing is that they're connected to the organization. They have a sort of human part of them that makes people feel that they want to work for the why of the organization because the passion that the leader brings. And I think now in today's changing world, leaders have got to be agile. We just can't be, the old style leadership. I think you've got to adapt to the changing world that we all exist in now. So agile leadership means understanding how different people and different organizations need to work together to deliver different services as the market changes around you. So you need to understand the emotional intelligence to build those teams in a different way, to understand the digital technology that's changing the world, and to allow people to feel comfortable with that and allow people to own the change. Change is much better when it's done with people rather than done to them. So I think the most important thing now is to give people ownership of what they do. The sector's changing, post-COVID has created new challenges. So you need to bring people on a journey with them. You need to use the talent that's in your businesses and connect them to the mission of the organization much more. And you need to set the example for them to allow them to be successful, to be engaged, to be involved. So the sector's got to create a real human connection with the changes that are going on in our world today. So having real purpose, I think leaders need to establish that purpose and create the infrastructure and the environment that make people really feel that they're doing something that's worth it and their skills are being used, fully to allow the success to be achieved. I was asked this once before actually, and actually strange enough, I think sport evolved my leadership style, because I played lots of sports, when I was growing up, all parts of teams, and I think the motivation from some of the coaches to allow you to become a better footballer, as it was in my case, to connect the team more effectively. And that made me realise that the team dynamic was very much to how you created the right environment and how you got people to develop their skills within those. So those led me to want to be part of enabling change, to have an impact in whatever I did, and to create an environment where people could succeed. I I think the biggest mistake for me is that when I was younger, I didn't really understand emotional intelligence. I was driven to want to be the best at what you did. I wanted the team to be the best. I wanted us to be successful quickly. And I probably didn't really understand what mattered to other people and the speed at which they could go on the journey with you. I just had an expectation that, you know, if we're going that quick, everybody can go that quick. And I remember an old boss of mine said to me, "Kevin, you don't suffer fools gladly." And I actually didn't know what that meant. And when I asked him, he said, you know, people have different capabilities and different motivations, and you don't allow for that. So that was the most powerful lesson that I've got, and it taught me a lot about my own self-awareness. So I think the first thing is just be yourself. I think too many of us, you know, want to be somebody else, and we're not somebody else. We have different traits and characteristics. So be yourself, invest in your team. And what I mean by that is really get to know your team. You know, what motivates them, what drives them, make yourself accessible, and then create the environment that they can work effectively in. And I think the other thing is get them to keep looking and listening and learning, and it's the same for you. You never stop learning. And then the final thing I just say, embrace the managerial role and have some fun with it. You know, I think, you know, too many people worry about being successful when they become managers, and you will be successful, I think, if you just, you know, build the team and engage really effectively.